Hello guys and girls. In this video I want to go through 24 different scents or fragrances that are good for winter. Now if you don't know, if you're in another country right now besides Australia, it is winter here and it's freezing cold. This time of year it's winter, that's why I'm making a winter video, even though it might be a different season somewhere else in the world right now. Not all of these scents are going to be completely different. Some of them you might see mentioned a million times in other videos, so keep that in mind. So number one, we have, actually we'll start from number 25. So I don't have a bottle here, but number 25 will be Armani Code Profumo. So not the Absolute version, because I actually prefer Profumo. So with Profumo, right, you get this nice fresh opening and then it dries down into a little bit leathery, spicy, with some Middle Eastern kind of oriental smell to it, right? And I really like the Profumo version of Armani Code just because it reminds me of a Middle Eastern family that I used to know, because my stepdad was Middle Eastern. We were really close with his family and they would always smell, they would have this unique smell in their house, and Code Profumo reminds me a lot about that house or the Middle Eastern family, right? So, and my stepfather especially. For me, Code Profumo, it's more of a sentimental kind of fragrance that I like for that reason, even though I think a lot of people are going to prefer Absolute just because it's really sweet and more mass appealing. I prefer Profumo just because of the balance, and to me it's a little bit more personal. Next, I don't actually have a bottle of this either. It's Luna Rossa Black. Okay, so Luna Rossa Black by Prada. What I like about this is super versatile. Girls love it. It's gonna appeal to like all ages, right? You got this powdery smell, and then you get this almost leathery, I'm gonna say leathery. You have like a really nice leathery dry down and powdery, and it has a freshness to it, and it's not too sweet, not too fresh, and this really works well during the winter just because it's not too sweet, not too fresh, and it does give that warm, dark feeling to it. In the Luna Rossa line, they're not usually going down that route of like warmer fragrances or powdery. They're usually soapy fresh, and this does have a little bit of soapiness to it, but Luna Rossa Black, really nice fragrance. I recommend checking that out. Great for winter. And number 23 is Givenchy Gentleman Boise EDP. This opens up with a really nice vanilla iris kind of scent, and then in the dry down it gets a little bit more leathery, spicy. And now my sister didn't actually like Givenchy Gentleman Boise, but I really like it. Okay, I love the iris vanilla combination. I think iris and vanilla, perfect combination. Really nice scent, but keep in mind it's not going to be the safest buy out there for you. And 22 was one that I recently just tested. I only had a little decant of this bottle, and it was called Jaguar Excellence Intense. So what you get is almost like a 1 million smell. It starts off really, I'd say you get vanilla and iris, like that beautiful vanilla iris combination in the opening, and then it dries down more into like 1 million. Maybe a little bit of spice, but I did recently review that in a video of mine. So I recommend checking out that video if you want like a more in-depth review about this. I'm not going to try and talk too much about the fragrances here because there's so many to go through. I would just say Jaguar Excellence Intense, nice freshness, nice sweetness, a good balance, and it's got iris in it, so really nice. And 21, I've actually got two fragrances here because I think they're very similar, and it's Ferragamo Uomo Signature, so Uomo Signature by Salvatore Ferragamo. And the other one is Carolina Herrera CH Men Privé or Privé. Uomo Signature, what you get, it's almost like a sweet opening, but then it dries down to this really manly, leathery, even peppery kind of dry down, right? So you get, it does have coffee in there, but I can't smell the coffee too much. But what you get is a nice sweet opening with a nice leathery dry down. I say it's very similar to CH Men Privé, except the opening is different. So CH Men Privé, you get a citrus opening. So it starts off fresh and then it dries down to almost the exact same leathery, peppery dry down as Uomo Signature. So to me, Uomo Signature, CH Men Privé have an almost identical dry down, just with a different opening. I actually prefer CH Men Privé a little more because, or Privé, just because it has lemon citrus opening, so it opens really nice, right? And then it dries down a little bit more leathery. You can pick either one. They're both really good for winter. And next is Number 20, Bulgari Man in Black. So Man in Black has been compared to Spice Bomb Extreme because in the opening it smells a lot like Spice Bomb Extreme. Now where this gets a little bit different is the iris and leather dry down, okay? So it has some iris and leather dry down, and for that reason I'm not going to actually say it's the same as Spice Bomb Extreme. I'm going to say the opening is very similar, but then it takes its own unique journey. It goes its own way, right? So yeah, for that reason, really nice kind of cola nutmeggy, spicy opening, almost like Spice Bomb Extreme. Then it goes into this beautiful iris vanilla dry down. Is it leather, sorry, iris leather dry down. So 19, I also just recently reviewed this with all these little decant bottles I had. It's Invictus Victory. So super creamy opening, vanilla. It's got some spice and some kick to it, but mainly it's a creamy vanilla, delicious opening that rides its way down, and to the very, very dry down you get a little pepper just in the dry down, like a little tad bit of pepper, but mainly very creamy, sexy, vanilla, sweet, warm scent. And Invictus Victory, beautiful scent. Honestly, I love it, but the dry down, it's a little too spicy for me, but I would wear it during winter, and I do actually really, really love the majority of the scent. From dry down to from the opening to the mid, and even the dry down is nice too, right? So, number 18, we have Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Now, I was gonna put Spice Bomb Extreme in here as well, but I decided to go with Tom Ford Noir Extreme just because everyone talks about Spice Bomb Extreme too much. But for me, I think Noir Extreme is a little bit more safer to wear, honestly, because it doesn't have the tobacco and as much spice in it. Now, I think it's a much safer version of Spice Bomb, but I think more people are gonna maybe go towards Spice Bomb Extreme side just because the hype has kind of pushed everyone towards Spice Bomb Extreme. So you can go either way. You can pick Tom Ford Noir Extreme or Spice Bomb Extreme. They basically smell the same, except Noir Extreme doesn't have the tobacco and it's not as spicy, okay? It's up to you, either one, really nice scent. Number 17. I actually do have some bottles here. This one is called Pure Excess Night by Paco Rabanne. And my bottles are really dirty, I didn't clean them first, but Pure Excess Night, Paco Rabanne. This almost takes on a Spice Bomb Extreme kind of smell as well, but it's very different in its own way. Opening, you do get a lot of cinnamon and vanilla. It has that cola kind of smell to it, but then it doesn't have that tobacco in it. It doesn't really have that the cola smell as much, okay? To me, this is more a vanilla scent. It's more vanilla-y, and you do maybe get a little bit more cinnamon compared to Spice Bomb Extreme as well. But this is so good, and not enough people are really talking about it, but I recommend if you like Spice Bomb Extreme, try Pure Excess Night because it is a really, really good scent. The performance on this is great. Like, I've had this stuff last on my clothes for days, and some people may not really like the performance of it, and they're probably just not spraying enough, honestly. Because if you spray that properly on your clothes, you'll see the atomizer. I should show you the atomizer. It's one of the best atomizers I've ever seen, right? So maybe if not the best atomizer I actually got. If you want to see how good the atomizer is, check this out. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but this stuff shoots a lot out. Really powerful, amazing atomizer. And I like the bottle as well. It's a cool looking bottle. Number 16, right? So I was gonna put all these ones with Spice Bomb Extreme, but I decided to put Spice Bomb Extreme kind of with Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Now, I got 3 fragrances here, okay? So I put them all in the same kind of number, right? Because they smell the same to me. You got Initio Side Effect, you got Maison Margiela Jazz Club, and then you have Mancera Red Tobacco. Side Effect, Red Tobacco, and Jazz Club, they're all tobacco vanilla fragrances, okay? Just like Spice Bomb Extreme is a tobacco vanilla fragrance, but these ones don't have that cola smell, right? So you go Initio Side Effect. I think it may even have some alcohol in there. I think Jazz Club has alcohol in there too. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they do have a more mature kind of smell to them. They're more mature, they're more tobacco-y, they're more boozy, okay? Except for Mancera Red Tobacco, which is a little bit more medicinal, but besides that, it's it's really nice tobacco vanilla scent. So that's what you get. Very good performing fragrances, very sweet, warm, boozy, vanilla-y, tobacco-y, and just cozy scents. To me, I find these scents really cozy and even sexy. I would say sexy, honestly. So I wouldn't say they're that safe though. Side Effect Red Tobacco Jazz Club, that's number 16. Number 15 would be Stronger With You Absolutely. Okay, I love this scent so much. It is a boozy, chestnut, vanilla-y, warm, sweet, smooth fragrance. And I love it when it's super smooth, super sexy. And that hazelnut or chestnut, I think it's some kind of nut. It's just really, really nice. It doesn't really smell like peanut butter or anything like that, because that would be horrible. It's actually like almost like a synthetic kind of nut smell, right? So the smell you get from like hazelnut or chestnut in perfume is really, really nice. I would kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'd say if you've tried like 1 Million Lucky, then you would know basically what it smells like. Stronger With You, absolutely, yeah. So great performing, boozy, vanilla-y, smooth, nutty fragrance, and I find it really, really sexy too. So 14, I think we've got a bottle here. Halloween Man X. I actually originally tried this with a decant, and I liked it so much that I got myself a big bottle. Then after I got myself a big bottle, I realized I didn't like it as much in large quantities as I did in small quantities. So Halloween Man X, I think the lid's a little bit tacky here. I think this has a problem where it starts to come off. The top, whatever it is, doesn't really stay on there that well. But the smell of this is like very sweet, almost like Versace Eros in the opening. And then it's got this coffee. It obviously smells a lot like coffee. So the dry down, it is a scent you can actually smell the coffee in, which is good, because if you want to smell coffee, there's a lot of scents that you can't smell it in, like Polo Red, Uomo Signature. I mean, these, you can't smell the coffee in them, but with this, you can definitely smell the coffee in Halloween Man X. That is kind of, I would say, ruined by the sweetness from the sweet freshness like Eros has. So it is fresh and sweet. It's not just sweet, it's fresh and sweet, which does take away from the coffee a little bit. But don't be fooled, it's a really good scent. It's just like not for everyone, right? But when I did try this, I think it was like one of my favorite scents I had ever tried when I first smelt it. And now I'm kind of like not as keen on it as I was when I first bought it, but I have worn this a ton already. I've worn it to the shops, and I do try and wear it as much as I can. Just mainly taking advantage of this cold weather right now. So 13 is by Kilian Black Phantom. So this is also a coffee scent, but this one's just all sweetness without the freshness like Halloween Man X has. So by Kilian Black Phantom, it smells like coffee, but then you have this earthy truffle kind of smell to it, which actually comes from dark chocolate. Dark chocolate, it doesn't smell chocolatey in this fragrance. It smells more earthy, like truffle or something with the coffee. And to me, it's a really good combination, right? So earthy, coffee, warm, cozy scent. But once again, it is kind of subjective. A lot of people don't really like the earthiness from the chocolate, but I really love it. I love the coffee. I love the earthiness of it. And I think it's a great scent that lasts a very long time as well, performs great. So if you like coffee scents, or if you're just looking to try something with coffee, by Kilian Black Phantom is a good place to start, just with a little decant bottle. But they do go for a hefty price, very expensive. Number 12, we have Hugo Boss, The Scent, Le Parfum. I was considering putting Private Accord in here, but I obviously don't actually have a bottle of Private Accord, but this is probably better anyway for winter. So what you get with Le Parfum is a very like fruity red smell. Or I've even described it like, if you imagine what the color purple would smell like, it smells kind of like this. So cherry, grape, a dark cherry grape kind of smell in the opening with a very nice undertone of Maninka. And then as it dries down, you smell a lot of Maninka with a little bit of leather. Fruity, dark, with some freshness, and then a little bit of leather that comes through. But don't be fooled, there is also iris in here as well. And you can't really smell the iris, honestly. I do just like having that note in there, you know, because some people are just iris collectors. They just want a scent with iris in it just because it's iris. And if you're an iris collector, then go buy yourself a bottle of the scent Le Parfum. This stuff's so nice, honestly. I think this is really great for women. So if you're a girl, if you wear this, I would find that really sexy on a girl if she actually wore this. Yeah, don't be afraid to check out Le Parfum. I would just say it's a very challenging fragrance to wear. Something you could only really wear during winter, honestly, just because of how challenging it is. So perfect for a video like this, in my opinion. Now, number 11. I don't have a bottle of this, but I did get a decant. And the sad thing is, it's just been discontinued. But it's 1 Million Lucky. And what I like about this, you get this really, really nice plum opening. A fruity plum that's very dark and sexy. But then you have like a hazelnut or chestnut kind of twist to it, right? So it's plum and hazelnut or chestnut, whatever it is. And basically, this stuff is so good. Like, I understand why everyone's talking about it, why everyone's upset it got discontinued, because there is truly nothing that really smells like it. You can find fragrances that do have the chestnut in them or hazelnut, like Boss Bottled Collector's EDP. You've got Kenzo Aqua. And then you also have like Stronger With You Absolutely, but they don't smell really like 1 Million Lucky that much to me. So I'd say 1 Million Lucky is hard to describe, but it's completely unique and it's something you just gotta try for yourself and buy it. If you can get a bottle, because it's discontinued, unfortunately. So next is actually number 10. It's a good alternative to 1 Million Lucky. It's called Boss Bottled Collector's EDP. The name's a little bit long and confusing because there's so many different Boss Bottled, there's so many different EDPs, there's probably gonna pick the wrong bottle or something, but remember this is gold, so you can easily recognize it by the bottle, which is gold. And this stuff smells like, I've compared it with oranges, like I've said it smells like Fanta, but after smelling it a few more times, I changed my mind. It doesn't really smell that much like orange, honestly. I think it's just my nose. I think it's just my nose playing tricks on me, but it does have a very fruity opening, and then it goes like a nutty chestnut hazelnut smell with a peppery dry down. Okay, so fruity, nutty, not like fruit and nut chocolate, nothing like that. So it's mainly hazelnut with that orangey whatever fruit note that is in the top note. Something that's just really hard to describe the smell of, but then you have that peppery dry down. I think it's great, honestly. I really like this fragrance, apart from the peppery dry down, which I've said in a few videos, I'm not the biggest fan of spicy fragrances, but I know a lot of people really like them. Other people will enjoy it a lot more than me. Number 9, we have Carolina Herrera Bad Boy, and this is the EDT version, okay? Now, if you notice this, I can never get it out the box for some reason because of the shape of the bottle. It's honestly a really dumb shaped bottle, and the bottle annoys me so much, and it's hard to put in the box, it's hard to take out the box because this little bottom part gets caught on whatever is inside the box. But honestly, the scent itself is way better than the bottle looks. You get a Versace Eros kind of dry down, which is vanilla tonka or something like that, and then the opening is lemon. So lemon opening with vanilla, tonka, and chocolate dry down. I compare this with 2 fragrances. Chanel Allure Home Sport because of the lemon and vanilla. But then you have Versace Eros just because the dry down, the tonka actually smells very similar to this. It has a very sweet dry down with a very fresh opening, and it's rare that you find very fresh and very sweet fragrance in the one bottle, the one fragrance. Does that make sense? Really, really good stuff here. So I would highly recommend getting the EDT version, and don't sleep on it. You'll see tons of bad reviews online, and I'm not sure if that's just because the bottle sucks. I hate the bottle, but if you just judge it on the fragrance, the actual fragrance is amazing stuff, okay? I'm gonna have to put that back in the box later, honestly. So next at number 8, we have MFK, Maison Francis Kurkdjian, or however you pronounce his name. MFK Baccarat Rouge 540. Okay, so I hate the name already. I can't pronounce the name, but I absolutely hate the name Baccarat Rouge 540, but the scent itself is really good, okay? What you get is almost like an ultra male smell. It's very sweet and synthetic. It smells almost like cotton candy or bubble gum with like a resinous balsam sweetness to it, okay? So that's all you get. To me, it just smells like cotton candy, but a little bit more balsamic, like resin. Whereas Ultra Male smells a little bit more bubblegum, more vanilla-y on that side. This is more like a more feminine version for women, Baccarat Ridge 540, but also really good for men as well. And girls love the stuff, honestly. Baccarat Ridge 540, super sweet, really good compliment puller from women, and girls will love it. Now, next we have Coach Platinum in at number 7. So, why did I put Coach Platinum in the list? Because you'll see in a video of mine, I said it was like a Dior Sauvage clone, and that is true. It is a Dior Sauvage clone, but this has vanilla in it, and it is actually very, very sweet. Despite being a Dior Sauvage clone, this is very sweet with a lot of vanilla in there. And this is honestly better than Dior Sauvage to me. I think this is one of the sexiest fragrances ever made. I could wear this stuff, I feel so confident, I feel really sexy wearing it, and I know girls really dig this stuff too. Honestly, there's something about that vanilla with that scratchy Dior Sauvage opening that's just so freaking good. Man, this stuff is amazing. Like, you need to try this at least once, man. Not Dior Sauvage. Coach Platinum. It's just that good, honestly. Great for winter. At number 6, we actually have Jean Paul Gaultier Le Parfum. So this is Le Male Le Parfum. Black bottle, remember it's the black bottle. I put this in instead of Ultra Male for a certain reason, right? Because Ultra Male was a little bit too popular, a little bit too common, but it's also too sweet with not much freshness in there. But this one also smells way better. So Le Parfum smells better than Ultra Male just because it has a little bit of iris and it's a little bit more well balanced. And Ultra Male is just too sweet, too bubblegummy. This is really like, has a soapiness to it, a creaminess to it, a beautiful iris note. And I just adore this scent so much, I had to put it in the list over Ultra Male. But if you want, you can get Ultra Male too, because that's also a really good scent. Now, number 5 is one that's talked about a lot, but I thought I'd put it in the list anyway, because it's that good. Dolce & Gabbana, the one EDT version, right? So, not the EDP, everyone's talking about the EDP, I'm going to give the original some love now. This is not as weak as people say. Like, it gets hated on, it gets crapped on for its performance, for being weak. And I don't think it's that, I don't think it is weak at all, honestly. I can smell this, and to me, it smells very strong. When I spray it on my clothes, I usually put like 10 to 20 sprays, and the stuff is so strong, man. It's great. And in terms of the scent, very sweet, but very hard to describe the smell of. Like, I can't actually describe the smell besides saying it's sweet with a little bit of freshness to balance it out. And this stuff, super sexy. Girls actually really, really like this stuff. And my sister actually loves it too, if that matters, you know, because my sister is like one of the fussiest people in the world when it comes to fragrances, so if she likes it, then you know it's actually pretty good stuff. At number 4, we have Mercedes Club Black. I actually think this is the sexiest fragrance ever made, right? And I mean that seriously. But the bottle, one of the ugliest, worst bottles ever made too. So you have the sexiest fragrance ever made in such a cheap, bad, ugly bottle. The price is very cheap, and you get this vanilla scent, okay? It's just the most delicious vanilla you've ever smelled in your whole life. And to me, that's all I smell is vanilla. Maybe there's other notes in there, but honestly, I just ignore all the other notes and go straight for the vanilla, because that's what wows me. That's what makes me go, wow, this is just the sexiest thing I've ever smelled in my whole life. I couldn't go my whole life without wearing this now that I've tried it. Honestly, it's going to be something I'm going to wear for the rest of my life. It's just so hard to buy a bottle of it. It's so hard to find everywhere that I'm going to have to stock up on a few bottles, just because you never know when it's going to get discontinued, and I need this in my life. Like, Mercedes Club Black is that good, honestly. One of the best fragrances of all time. Number 3 is Polo Red Intense, which is a cranberry opening with a leathery dry down, and it has a lot of freshness, a lot of sweetness to it, okay? So cranberry opening, it's already dark from the cranberry, but fruity and has a freshness as well, because cranberry is dark, fresh, and sweet. But then that leather makes it masculine and balanced, makes it well balanced. And then you have that, I can't figure out what it is. I think it's just leathery, masculine cranberry. And to me, it's just so good. I know there's coffee in there and other stuff, but you can't smell coffee. To me, it's just all about the cranberry, all about the leather in this. So that's what makes this a wow fragrance. But honestly, it's discontinued. Be fine going with the original Polo Red, because apparently the original Polo Red does smell similar to this. So just go with the original Polo Red if you can't get intense. Number 2, Chanel Allure Home Sport. So this does get talked about a lot. Chanel Allure Home Sport. So what you get here is a citrus, creamy, vanilla-y fragrance, right? Citrus in the opening, creamy vanilla in the dry down, and that's all it is basically. Creamy vanilla dry down, citrus opening. Alright, so basically my camera had just cut out quickly, but I'm back, and what I was just saying before the camera cut out was Chanel Allure Home Sport. Very citrus fresh in the opening, very nice creamy vanilla dry down. Some people will probably prefer the O Extreme version instead, because the O Extreme is a little more fresh, but I think the Allure Home Sport, the original, is sweeter because it has that vanilla and it doesn't have the mint in the opening like O Extreme does, and this is probably better for winter, while O Extreme would be better for summer due to that mint in the opening. That makes it a little bit more fresh. And it does have C notes in it, but you can't really smell the C notes. And Allure Home Sport gets compared to Versace Pour Homme a lot, because there is some similarities there between Versace Pour Homme and Chanel Allure Home Sport, but also even Carolina Herrera Bad Boy. They do have similarities with all three of those, because vanilla and citrus is not really that unique in fragrances. They do kind of tend to smell the same, especially with like Versace Pour Homme, Chanel Allure Home Sport, Carolina Herrera Bad Boy, and then even when you look at some fragrances like, I think Xerjoff have Uden, which is very citrus, vanilla-y fragrance as well, so keep that in mind. But I do personally like the vanilla with citrus combination there, because it is a little bit of fresh, a little bit of sweetness. Number 1, it's not the best or the sexiest, but it is my favorite. It's Versace Eros. So I put this at number 1 for a reason. It's not actually the best, but for me, it was basically the fragrance that got me started with collecting, because I smelled this, I thought this was so amazing. I loved it that much that I kept trying to buy more and more fragrances to find something that was better than this. I just couldn't find anything that was better than this, honestly. Obviously now my taste has kind of changed a lot because I've smelled this so much. I'm kind of getting used to this, and I mean, every so often I just take a break from it, just so I can come back and appreciate it, just like when I first started smelling it. Like, yeah, when you don't smell it in such a long time, you remember exactly why this is such a good fragrance. And it's just that the most amazing vanilla, the most amazing mint and citrus apple opening. It's like this stuff, it's so sexy, it's so fresh, so sweet. It's a perfect balance of everything. Like, honestly, that's why this fragrance is still my favorite to this day. But I do think there is actually better fragrances than this now that probably better off buying. But to me, this is one of the fragrances that I've made my signature scent, and I'm always gonna have a bottle of this because I wear this stuff so often. I don't know if you can see the level on this, how much I've used already, but I try to conserve as much as I can, but I do spray this stuff. Like, I soak myself in this because I just love the smell of it, and I want to project it. And I don't care if there's people in if it's too loud. It's not really a clubbing scent to me. It is very loud though, but not in a clubbing type of way. More in a, what's the word? Like an inviting type of way. Whereas like, if you smell someone wearing this, to me it's inviting. It says, come say hello, because you're a very like sweet person. Like, I don't know. It's got that sweet calming vibe, and it's just a very relaxing fragrance. To me, this is relaxing. Some people say it's like mature. It's definitely not a mature scent at all, in my opinion. It is quite youthful because the mint, because the vanilla, they do come across as very youthful smells. The bottle, the cap is great. It's got a great cap. It's got a great atomizer. The bottle is honestly great in my opinion. I do like the bottle. Now there's a bunch of other flankers you can get. This is obviously the original, the EDT, but there is obviously a Parfum and Eau de Parfum. There is even Eros Flame, but to me, I still wear the original, and I'll probably buy some of the flankers later on. But for now, I've been happy enough with just the original that I didn't even really need to buy any more of the flankers. But yeah, if you suggest any flankers for me to buy, just let me know in the comments and I'll check them out. But this stuff, it's number one just because it is my favorite. It was the first fragrance that kind of got me started with the whole fragrance thing anyway. So obviously everyone talks about it. It doesn't actually get much love outside of the fragrance community though. So don't be thinking it's like all that popular on a street outside of the fragrance community, because although the fragrance community does talk about it a lot, not many people are even actually wearing Eros on the street or anything. Like you won't really walk past many people that are wearing Eros, so you're still going to smell unique. You're not going to smell like everyone else, because this stuff is a very unique smelling fragrance in my opinion. Even though Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme does also have mint and vanilla, nothing like this. It smells nothing like Eros. I do see a big difference. Like this, to me, is perfection. You couldn't really do anything to this that would make it a better perfume, but you could add extra things in there to make it different, okay? So you could add iris in here, would be amazing. You could add coffee in here, then it'll be a little bit more like Halloween Man X. You could add some more citrus in here, like a little bit more fresh, but I don't think there's much you can really do to this that's gonna make it any better than it already is, besides maybe just adding extra stuff in there to make it different. And then that way it might appeal to more people, but to me this is a perfect scent as it is. I don't hate it. I don't think it smells like toothpaste. A lot of people have compared it to toothpaste, but those people must be like doing something weird with toothpaste, like shoving it up their nose or something, that their nose is probably destroyed and they can't smell anything now because this smells nothing like toothpaste, I'm telling you. There you go, that's my top 25 fragrances for winter. You should check some of them out. Peace.